All right, let's talk about one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your growing business, one that honestly impacts everything, from your cash flow to your ability to stay competitive. We're talking about the very backbone of your company, your IT infrastructure.
So where is your company's digital heart going to live? Is it going to be in the cloud or right there in your own server room? And look, getting this right, it's not just some tech decision for the IT department. It's absolutely fundamental to your financial health and your future growth.
So to help you make that call, here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the 2 core financial models, then we'll dive into a 4-factor showdown, help you find your perfect fit, and then wrap it up with a clear action plan.
Okay, so at the very core of this whole cloud versus on-prem thing, it really boils down to 2 totally different ways of spending your money. Capital expenditure, or CapEx, and operational expenditure, or OpEx. Let me give you an analogy that makes this super clear. On-premises, that's like buying a house. You've got this massive upfront cost, that's your CapEx, and from that moment on, all the maintenance, all the repairs, that's your problem. The cloud, though? That's more like renting a fully serviced apartment. You just pay a predictable monthly fee, that's your OpEx, and things like security and upkeep are all handled for you. It's a completely different way of thinking about your finances.
All right, now that we've got the money models down, it's time for the main event. We're putting cloud and on-premises head-to-head in a 4-factor showdown to see how they really stack up.
And you guessed it, we're kicking things off with the one thing that's on every business owner's mind: cost, the bottom line. So how do these 2 really compare when it comes to the numbers?
For a serious on-premises setup, you could be staring down a bill for, get this, $150,000 right out of the gate. For a small or medium business, that is a huge chunk of cash tied up in hardware that starts losing value the second you turn it on. Okay, now let's flip the script and look at the cloud. Instead of that giant bill, you're looking at a predictable monthly expense, maybe something like $2,000 a month. This whole pay-as-you-go model completely changes the game for your cash flow, right? It frees up your capital to spend on things that actually grow the business, like hiring people or marketing.
Okay, let's move past the sticker shock for a second and talk about our second factor: risk. And I'm not just talking about cybersecurity here. We're talking about compliance and the massive, massive cost your business faces if your systems suddenly go down.
And there's a really important term you need to know here: SLA. It stands for Service Level Agreement. Basically, think of it like an insurance policy you get from your cloud provider. They sign a contract guaranteeing a certain level of uptime. We're talking 99.9% or even higher. That drastically cuts your risk of that expensive downtime. But here's a really important catch. While the cloud provider manages the security of the cloud, your business, you're still responsible for the security in the cloud. So compliance with things like GDPR or HIPAA, that's still on your shoulders. The huge benefit, though, is that if something does go wrong with the infrastructure, the cloud provider's recovery systems and that SLA are just way more robust than what most small businesses could ever hope to build themselves.
All right, factor number 3. This one's all about looking to the future: scalability. How easy is it for your infrastructure to grow and shrink right along with your business? And wow, the difference in thinking here is just massive. The cloud? It's elastic. If you have a huge product launch and need more power, you can get it in minutes. And tomorrow, you can scale right back down. You only pay for what you actually use. With on-prem, you have to buy enough servers to handle your busiest day ever, which means most of the time, all that expensive hardware is just sitting there, not being used.
Okay, our 4th and final factor is a huge one, especially when it comes to staying ahead of the competition: time to value. How fast can you take a new idea, get it up and running, and have it actually start delivering value to your business and your customers?
I mean, the difference here is it's just night and day. With a cloud platform, you can have new services deployed and working in a matter of hours, maybe a couple of days. An on-premises setup? Oh man, you're talking about waiting for hardware to be ordered, shipped, installed, configured. That can take weeks, even months. And that's all time that your competitors are using to get ahead.
So, we've seen the head-to-head battle. The big question now is, how do you actually apply this to your business? Let's walk through a super simple framework that'll help you find that perfect fit.
This little chart here is a fantastic starting point. Just find the row that sounds most like you. Are you a small team with pretty standard compliance needs? Well, a cloud-first approach is probably your best bet. Maybe you're a bigger company with really high compliance rules for certain data. A hybrid approach might be the ticket. Keep that super critical stuff on-prem, but use the cloud for everything else. It's all about tailoring the strategy to you. And to help you have that internal conversation, here's a simple checklist. The key here? Don't just think about today. You've got to project your costs and your needs out over the next 3, maybe even 5 years. That long-term view is absolutely essential if you want to make a smart, strategic decision.
Okay, you've done the analysis, you've got a pretty good idea of the direction you want to go. So what do you actually do on Monday morning? Let's talk about the action plan.
Let's make this simple. Here are 4 concrete steps to take. Start with the numbers, sure, but don't stop there. Get your finance people, your IT people, your legal team all in a room. And hey, before you jump in with both feet, why not run a small pilot test? Just dip your toe in the water. And you know what? Never ever be afraid to call in an expert to help you figure out the details.
You know, at the end of the day, this isn't about picking one winner and one loser. It's about finding the right mix for your unique business. Because when you get that mix right, the payoff is huge. We're talking better productivity, real cost savings, and the agility to jump on new opportunities before anyone else.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought. Your business isn't going to stay the same. It's going to look different in 3 years. The real question you need to ask yourself is, will your infrastructure be an anchor, holding you back? Or will it be a sail, ready to catch the next big gust of wind?